My parents didn't believe in allowances. They believed in invoices. Every birthday, every Christmas, while other kids were getting toys, I was getting a tally of what my existence cost them. By the time I graduated high school, they handed me a bill for $200,000 and told me not to come back until I had a check. I spent years in the trenches. I worked double shifts at a diner, lived in a studio apartment with 3 other guys, and put every spare penny into a small landscape business. I was exhausted, lonely, and, honestly, I felt like an orphan with living parents. But then, things changed. My business took off. I landed contracts for major golf courses across the country. 10 years later, I sold the company to a private equity firm for a life-changing amount of money. Suddenly, after a decade of silence, my mom sends me a thinking of you text. She invited me over for a reunion dinner. I walked into their house, and it smelled like my childhood, pot roast and floor wax. But the moment the plates were cleared, the vibe shifted. My dad didn't ask about my life or my happiness. He pulled out a yellowed piece of paper. It was the old invoice, updated with inflation and management fees. He smiled and said, "Now that you're a big shot, we figured it was time to settle the debt. We're thinking $5 million, as a thank you for the discipline we taught you." I looked at them, and I didn't feel angry anymore. I felt pity. They had traded a son for a math problem. I stood up, took out my checkbook, and wrote a check for the exact amount of the original bill, $200,000. I slid it across the table and said, "Here is what I owe you for the food and the roof. But as for the love, that was supposed to be free." I walked out that door and never looked back, because I realized you can buy a house, but you can't buy a home. And some people are so poor, all they have is money.